Northwest. It is raining outside, so you know we're really there. We're actually just south of Portland here, and I'm working on this beautiful red Cirrus. The plane is in for a single-step paint correction and ceramic coating, but since you guys really enjoyed the how-to wash kind of in greater detail on the Meridian video, we're going to do the same thing up here. So we're going to go over chemicals and processes and how to wash one of these safely, so you're not putting scratches back in, safely for you, so you're not getting hurt by chemicals, and also efficiently, so if you're not spending all day on your weekend washing your plane. So we'll get started with the chemicals that I like to use, and then we'll jump into the process. So there's two main cleaning solutions that I like to use. I know you have many choices out there. I'm a minimalist, I like to use two. First one is G-Technic W5. It's a citrus cleaner. We use this as our degreaser / strong cleaner. So if you have heavy bugs, oils, exhaust, that kind of stuff, we use this. Our mainstay, however, is Optimum No Rinse. This is going to be our everything cleaner. You can use this on leather, you can use this on the windows, you can use this on the wings, you can use this on exhaust. On a coated plane, this is going to be much more effective on exhaust and oil. On an uncoated plane, you may have to use a little bit of this first. Now the rule with this, if you use this, you got to finish it up with this. This is very hydrophilic. It attracts water, it attracts dust. So use this to clean. When you're done with it, go over it with this. You don't use this at 100%. Use this at a 1 to 20 dilution. This, depending on how dirty your plane is, about 1 to 10, 1 to 20. Use as little as you can, but usually 1 to 10 is what I recommend for this. If something's really dirty, or your plane's not coated and something's just really stuck on there, you can use it at 100%. And also you can use this as a foam. I'll show you what that looks like. But I'm just going to take these two mixing bottles here. 1 to 20 no rinse, 1 to 10 citrus cleaner. And then when I leave here, the owner has cleaning solutions ready to go as well. So we have our no rinse mixed up, the 1 to 20. I got a microfiber towel, a nice plush one. These are from the Rag Company. I'll link these in the video description. And basically, what I'm going to do, this isn't super oily. We have some bugs here and there, but overall, relatively clean as far as airplanes go. We're going to put a very light mist on there. That's actually pretty thick, so this spray bottle is set a little generous, but we got a mist on there, and we're going to work in straight lines. The reason I like working in straight lines is because that way I'm not being redundant in what I'm wiping. So if I go like this, see all the repetition we're getting here? If I go like this, I have a pattern, and I'm not going to miss anything, and I'm not going to go over anything more than it needs to. So not only does that save time, it also reduces your chances for scratching something. So then as we kind of did that initial pass, there's going to be a little bit of water left behind. Just go over, back with the towel, and kind of remove that liquid. If your first towel, your wash towel is getting a little saturated, just use a separate towel and use that as your drying towel. Now, there might be some areas where there's going to be some bugs that are still in there. So you got bugs up here, for example. If they don't come off on that first wipe, because your airplane isn't coated, just let them soak a little bit longer. So these bugs are dry, and if we let that water soak in there, it just loosens them up. What I don't want you to do is to scrub. You're like, this bug's not coming off first. Scrub. That's how you get scratches in your clear coat. This paint is relatively soft. So just let it soak. If it doesn't come out, or you're not very patient, we can also escalate that up to use the citrus cleaner on that. I usually like to do the fuselage first, then move on to the wings, because as I'm spraying here, you'll notice I might get some overspray on the wings, and like to avoid that. So again, we go spray on a little bit, work in straight lines, and you'll see that little bit of water that's left behind. Just go to a drier side on your towel, and you can get that off pretty easily. So that's it. This is done. We don't have to rinse it off. That's why it's called no rinse. So we just talked about how I like to do the fuselage first and then do the wings. Well, guess what? I'm going to do the wings right now. Just blow them up here. So we take our spray. This is super easy here. So the way no rinse works, it's basically a polymer. It's a polymer that sticks to your paint It sticks to the dirt, dust, whatever, and in doing so, it lubricates the paint, but it also makes those particles on your paint less abrasive, so less likely to scratch. And by using good towels, good techniques, we further reduce that chance of scratching. The reason it's called no rinse is because you notice after I apply the cleaning agent, I'm not rinsing it back off. If your soap was lubricated, by rinsing it off, you remove all of that lubrication, and now you have water, which is stickier. Water has very high surface tension, so that's why no rinse works well. If we use the citrus cleaner on this, for example, if we had really stubborn bugs, we'd use the citrus cleaner, we would have to rinse off the citrus cleaner. So that adds another step, which adds more work. Now the other thing with no rinse is that it's very safe. It's essentially water, the polymers are soy-based, so if you're underneath the wing spraying this up, breathing it back in, it's not terrible for you. So again, looking out for the plane, looking out for you. I usually go up to about the fuel and TKS line here, then I go on the backside, get the backside from the other side. I'm not a big fan of people wet washing their planes because it takes you a minute to get the whole plane wet, right? And it'll realistically take you 30 to 60 minutes to dry that plane. And during that time, you have a lot of chances for water spots to develop on the underside of your wings, on the top side of your wings, on the top of your fuselage. And those mineral spots are really hard to take out, and in some cases can actually etch your paint. So wet washing, it's just a lot of work. Like by the time you get your hose out or you go to the designated washing area at your airport, you could have had the plane done with no rinse. And we're going to use, realistically, maybe this whole bottle to wash this plane. Is this safe to use on the windows? Why, yes it is. The things you have to worry about with the windows is that it's a type of plastic, it's susceptible to being dissolved by salt, and so crazing is an issue. But also, this is fairly soft, so I'm worried about scratches. If you have bugs on there, and again, you're scrubbing really hard, that has a big likelihood of causing scratches. Same technique applies, so spray it on. And I like to go in a pattern that kind of simulates the way the air flows over your plane. So kind of go in straight lines like this. And if at this point I saw any bugs that weren't coming off, guess what? I'm just going to ignore them. I'm not going to scrub on there because I don't want to scratch this soft polycarbonate here. Just go over it. If we had any bugs, which of course for this video I'm not seeing any bugs, we just soak them a little bit longer. But again, this is essentially water. It's safe to use on. You can use this on leather. It's fine. Now the one thing I would say is if you're washing your plane and you got the whole thing done and you're saving this for last, don't use the same towel. Go get a clean towel. Buy a bunch of these. They're not that expensive, especially compared to the cost of one of these. We got bugs here. We also have some TKS residue and a lot of scratches actually, probably from scrubbing bugs off. So I'm going to show you some of the different strategies that we talked about. So the first one, we're just going to use no rinse, spray it on. Hopefully this won't take all of it off. Good. Okay, so it's cleaner, but we still have stubborn bug here, 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 and some various other bug residues. So there's two things we can do now. There's three things we can do. We can spray the whole thing with no rinse again, let it soak for a while, come back. We can also take the citrus cleaner, which we have at a 1:10 dilution, remember? So we spray that one on. You can see the citrus cleaner, being a stronger cleaner, is actually gonna start eating away the bugs. Now, I can also use this shorter pile towel, so long pile, short pile, and kind of massage that in a little bit. So you can see that actually reduce the bug residue quite a bit without having to wait a long time to soak. Now the other thing we can do, so being that we treated a large area there, but this is the only place we have our bug, we can also use that foam. So remember the foam. Dollop of foam, like so. You just dab that on there. So now we get all of the cleaning action of the foam in just the spot where we need it. We can go around and apply that to other areas. So you got a little bit there. This looks cooler. You don't make as big of a mess. You just go around and dab, dab, dab. And as that breaks down, just kind of wipe it up. Again, use your short pile towel. And that did a pretty good job of getting rid of those bugs without having to scrub very hard. So the way that process looks like then in fast motion, pre-treat with no rinse. Get anything that comes off easily off first. Then the stubborn holdouts. Get some foam. Or we can spray some citrus cleaner if it's a larger area, and use our short pile towel. So you might be thinking, what does the POH say about cleaning the windows? Right? Good question. Kerosene. Cirrus says you should use kerosene on this. Why? Why would you use kerosene on this? You see this rubber up here, or whatever this sealant material is? Guaranteed not a fan of kerosene. That right there. Also, bugs, that's protein, right? Guess what? Protein is water soluble. These bugs, put some water on it, such as no rinse, which is essentially what that is. That's how you get them to come off. Not scrubbing, not kerosene, water. Kerosene is an organic solvent. So if you had tar on your windshield, yes, you could use kerosene, I suppose. Though I've not seen any tar on Cirrus windshields during the time I've been doing this. Now, let's say you're just profoundly uncomfortable with this whole spray on, wipe off business, and you just want to get your plane wet. I get it. I get it. It took me a while to open up to this as well. We wash cars with no rinse. In episode either 1, 3, 4, one of those, we wash a Rolls Royce with no rinse. So it's safe. I know it's safe. I've proven this to myself. You just prove it to you. But there's a bucket wash method as well, and this is actually the conventional method of using no rinse. You dilute it 1 to 256, which comes out to 1 ounce in 2 gallons. We're only using 1 gallon of water because I'm just doing this as a demo for you. I'm not gonna do the whole plan this way. So I have half an ounce of no rinse in here. All of this is on the bottle, so you don't have to take notes. I got my towel soaking in there. So we got a 1 to 256 dilution here, which comes out to half an ounce per gallon. I'm just using a gallon, which is fine. Got my wash towel soaking in there. The other thing you want to do is have a drying towel. Now for the drying towel, you can use the exact same type of towel. Doesn't matter. You just want something nice and fluffy so it's absorbent and you don't have to push or work very hard to get your water off. What I advise on cars, which I'll do on planes as well, is work down the dirt gradient. So usually this is dirtier than this. So if we're working in straight lines like this, we go down the gradient. If we go like this, we take the clean, pick up the dirt, drag it back up. We don't want to do that. So we're going to go like this, down the gradient. The other thing I would say is have a manageable size. So if it's really hot out, you don't want your no rinse to dry while you're washing. So don't do the whole side of the plane and then come back and try and dry that. The cool thing about no rinse is that if you do have bad water, so if you have a lot of minerals in your water, in addition to binding to dirt and stuff, no rinse also binds to minerals. So if you have a lot of calcium in your water, guess what? The no rinse is going to bind to that as well. And make it less prone to staining. It'll still kind of stain a little bit, but it won't be as permanent as if it was just raw water. If you have bad water though, add a little bit more no rinse in because part of your no rinse is going to get tied up binding to minerals instead of binding to your paint. So if your plane is coated, or even if it's not coated, still use the spray on solution and get a mist on there. What that does, these smaller droplets are much more prone to stick to the surface, whereas large water droplets are going to run right off. So this way we have a little bit of a base layer of lubrication. Then take your towel that's been soaking in the no rinse and leave it wet. You don't want to wring it out. straight lines. Going down the gradient, okay? Now, see all this water on here? This is our wash solution. That's where the name no rinse comes from. We don't have to hose this off. We just take our towel, go back to the bucket with it, and wring it out in the bucket. So we wash the towel in the bucket, wring it out this time so it's dry-ish, and then we mop up the excess liquid. So now it's probably about 80% dry, okay? So there's still water, not perfectly dry. That's where our dry towel comes in, and we pick up the rest of that liquid. If you're really worried about your plane not getting wet, this is a good way to do it. This is a good way to do wings as well. Wings do tend to accumulate a little bit more grit just from sitting on a ramp, dust lands on them. So not a bad way to do a wing. I guess I'll show you how to do a wing with this too. So to do a wing, this method, again, kind of pre-lubricate it a little bit. Get those polymers on the paint, get that dilution or that breakdown of dirt started. And then we take our towel, then we take our wet towel, and we go down the pattern. If you have a lot of just dust or dirt or bugs, you know, this is just going to give you a little bit more dissolving action. So we did our very wet pass. Clean the towel in the bucket. And with that, I mean, just wring it out a few times. If you have any dirt, it's going to transfer from the wing to the towel to the bucket. Then we clean our towel, wring it out so it's medium dry, and we're going to mop up the excess. And also, this is going to ensure that if we did leave behind a little bit of potentially abrasive grit, we're mopping it up while we have a lubricated surface before the drying step. And by doing this, we also don't saturate our drying towel quite as fast, so we can use less drying towels. I'll go over it one more time with the damp towel, just to get a little bit more of that liquid off. Then we use our dry towel. There you go. So still faster than hose washing, but not as fast as just spray on, wipe off. Up to you, whatever you want to use. Just get a bottle of no rinse, play around with it. The key is good technique. Good technique, low pressure, no scrubbing. If you have bugs, soak them, don't scrub them. Now this was all the easy part. We gotta go do the underside now. To best understand how to clean something, we gotta know what it even is, right? And on the underside, we have a few things going on. So let's go for a tour. So what do we have here? So we're on the back end here. See that nice stream of whitish stuff? Let me turn that light up. That's a little bit clean. Then we have some other nasty stuff here. Then we got more white stuff there. Where is this coming from? It's not coming from that way. Let's go see. Ah, this is exhaust. Okay. Now why is this side oily? We got crankcase vent up there. So we have oil coming out of here, kind of running down the middle. Okay, not sure if you can see that pretty well, but that runs kind of there. We have exhaust, which is white. And then on this side, we have a beautiful combination of oil and exhaust. So, what is this exhaust exactly? Your airplane is burning leaded fuel. The fuel burns, you get carbon dioxide, water. Nominally, that's what happens, okay? But there's some lead that's left behind. This white stuff, that's lead. So, in addition to wearing gloves, when I'm messing with that, I'm gonna wear a mask. And if it's really, really bad, I'm actually gonna wear a Tyvek suit so I can throw it all away when I'm done. The oil, not a huge deal. I mean, it's not something you wanna have lunch with these gloves afterwards, but just be mindful of that. Like, this is lead, and lead is not good for the human body. So, how are we gonna manage this operation here? So what I like to do is start off with a gross decon. So we're gonna remove anything that's loose and comes off with minimal effort. For that, we're gonna use one of these low pile towels. So the lower pile is a little bit more scrubby than the fluffy towels. And we're gonna use no rinse and use the citrus cleaner. However, we're gonna spray the citrus cleaner on the towel instead of spraying it up because I don't want it coming in my face. Like I said, I'm gonna wear a mask, I'm gonna wear eyeglasses, I got my light here. I don't think I'm gonna jump in the Tyvek suit for this one unless I find that it's dripping all over me, but that's more of a technique thing, so hopefully I'm gonna be able to dodge that. But we're gonna get that set up. We're gonna start in the back and we're gonna work our way forward. So again, going down the gradient, start with the cleaner end, go to the dirtier end. The other thing you wanna have ready is a bucket of water so we can frequently squeeze out this towel and get the oil and stuff out of the towel as we progress. But we do wanna work relatively dry because again, I don't want stuff dripping down on me. Is this exaggeration? I don't think so. But then again, I do this a lot more than you. So I'm going to take every precaution I can to protect myself. Let's take a look at what we have here. So we got nice dirty underside. The whiter stuff is going to be the lead. The darker stuff is going to be oil. We got our towel, which I'm going to spray cleaning solution on the towel. And we're just going to see how it reacts. Remember, this is a gross decon, so we just get off the stuff that comes off easily in this step. We're not trying to get to 100%. We're just gonna repeat that, get any oil off that might be interfering with our ability to clean, and just see how far we get. I'm gonna put the camera up here and get a little bit of work done. The other thing you can do, if you don't want to spray, remember our foam? Watch this. We get some foam on there. So there we got huckies, as my daughter would call it. So we get some foam. Not perfect, but significantly better. Okay, here's our before. So, gotta remember, this is step one, gross decon, not perfect, okay? Now, as we move further down, this is gonna get more challenging because not only does it get dirtier, it gets lower. So that's where you wanna have an adjustable incline creeper, so you can creep down, creep up. The other thing you have to worry about is we have some antennas. So, in order to not hit these, one of the strategies I've adopted is by flagging them. So I just take some tape, put it down around there, and make a nice visible flag. So when you're looking head on like that, it sticks out more than if it wasn't there. So you don't poke your eye out. Same with this one. Glasses, also a good idea for that kind of stuff. The other thing you want to be careful about as you're creeping around is don't run into that with your knee or something, because if you push hard enough on that, that'll break. There's enough owners who have been using a broom cleaning the underside and broken their antenna off. So I'm going to keep going on here. I just want to share that. I'm going to go into low creep position and keep going. The foam works really well because it doesn't drip down, so I can use more cleaning solution and I can let it sit on there for a little bit longer before it drips down. So I'll just keep going, make some progress here, and we'll touch base on the other side. So that achieved a decent removal of exhaust, but you can see, especially on the vinyl, there's still a lot of staining. That vinyl you can't scrub too hard on or else it turns shiny. We got some more staining here, and basically the closer we get to the exhaust, the more staining we have. So sure, we can keep scrubbing. And what that does, it just causes scratches. And you know how I feel about scratches. So the other thing we can do is, again, talk about what is this? Lead. So I have a cleaner known as variably the secret sauce, the magic sauce, or Aviana exhaust. This specifically targets lead. The way it works, you apply it with an applicator or a towel, let it sit for a little bit, it turns bright green. That's the reaction that's happening. So it's taking that lead and it's breaking it down and making it much more water soluble. So right now it's stuck on the paint. After this, it just wipes right off. So we got a lot of the oil off. In fact, we got most of the oil off, but there's still a good amount of lead residue left behind. And you can see it on darker areas. You can really see it up here. See it right there. Do you see that? Let me get a better light on there. There you go. Lots of lead. So our initial pass got the oil off, so we degreased the belly. We just have this tough residue left behind, which I'm sure if you have one of these, you have had to deal with. You really see it on here. So we are going to use a special cleaner for that. Something that I've kind of come up with. The way it works, it specifically targets lead and it makes it more water soluble. So as we apply this, it converts the lead that's on the paint into something that's a lot easier to come off. It basically chelates it, so it surrounds the metal into manageable chunks. And then since we have to no rinse this anyway after using all that soap, we will just no rinse all of that off. It's really easy to use. I'd really like it if Cirrus would officially approve this. It's safe. We can leave it on the paint all day long. Nothing will happen. But they just haven't responded yet. So if you really want this, call your Cirrus agent and say, hey, go talk to Meredith at Aviana. We'd like to get this on the market. Cirrus can sell it for all I care. Whatever. I just want to have you guys be able to use this as well, because a lot of people ask me when this is going to be available, and that's really the only hang up. So we take some of the solution, get on an applicator sponge, and then just wipe it on. And the reason we use that citrus step first is to get rid of all the oil, because the oil kind of interferes with this product's ability to do its job. Okay, now we wait. You notice how it's kind of turning green a little bit? I don't know if you can see it with this light. See right there? So any place where it's turning green, it is finding lead to react with. If I go over it again, just kind of gently agitate, you can see it's gone. And again, safe to use on vinyl. Wipe it on, you can see the color reaction happening, kind of. Get some more on there. So we're chelating the lead. Take our no rinse, microfiber towel. And there we go. So we have a lot of lead buildup here. Let's put some product on. And we could walk away from it, or we can agitate it a little bit, depending on how much work you want to do. Spray some no rinse on there, and as good as new. Get a good spot up here. Gently wipe it on. Again, I'm not really scrubbing. A little bit of no rinse. Microfiber towel. before, after, and before. So click no work. So this part right behind the exhaust, it's very thick here. Okay, I already cleaned this. When it's really thick, you kind of have to work in layers. So let me show you what that looks like. So we add some cleaner. See, right away it's turning green. Now because this is thick, only the top layer of lead is getting dissolved. So we want to carry away that which is already done reacting and add some new reagent to it. So we get some more product. See how we got a reduction? So we went from up here to there. Okay, like a 50% reduction. Now this is our thickest spot. So we add just a little bit more. And gone. And I'm not scrubbing, right? This isn't a friction process. I'm just mixing reagent with the lead that's on there. Now we spray some no rinse on there and wipe it up. Pretty cool, huh? So plate is washed, belly's cleaned, lead's removed. I'm going to move on to paint correction now to get all these swirls and scratches out, and then we're going to coat it to protect it. However, I want to recap what we talked about here, so you can do this yourself. So we started off with no rinse. Do no rinse two ways, either in a spray bottle at a 1 to 20 dilution. You can also do the bucket method if you want. I don't recommend it, but if that's what you want to do, that's fine. That's at a 1 to 256 dilution. Find this on Amazon, link below. For stubborn bugs, use the citrus cleaner, 1 to 10 dilution to kind of dissolve them away, or put them straight in a foamer. And I also put a link to this specific foamer bottle as well. Comments below, or in the description below. So citrus cleaner, foamer, or 1 to 10. Then, of course, we use the secret sauce, magic sauce, Aviana exhaust cleaner. Probably not going to be available yet when you get to this video, but if it is, I'll put it in the description as well. The other thing I'd recommend is wear a mask, glasses, gloves. The creeper's awesome. Just get one that's like fully inclining like this. Don't get the ones where it's just the head inclining like the butt part is here. Those are just not very useful for airplanes. Those are really made more for cars. Again, all of these will be in the description below. If you have any questions, just drop a message. I'm going to start paint correction. After coating this plane, I'm actually going to drive up to Seattle and we're going to do another Cirrus there. So if you're interested in seeing that end of the process, watch the vlog episode that this is all in and you'll be able to see the full process. But this was just kind of a washing video. I hope it was helpful, and if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.